What if I told you that everything you thought you knew about time is wrong? That time itself could be nothing more than a mirage, a trick played on our minds by the universe. Could time be an illusion? Today we're diving deep into the mysteries of time, with science, philosophy, and mind-bending research that will challenge your perception of reality. Think about it. We measure everything with time, our lives, our memories, the very history of the universe. But why does time sometimes feel like it's slipping through our fingers, and other times as if it's dragging endlessly? Is time an objective reality, or is it a product of our minds? From Einstein's theory of relativity to the mysteries of quantum physics, and even how your brain tricks you into perceiving time differently, you're about to embark on a journey that might just change how you see the world. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. All right, let's get started by asking, what exactly is time? Is it something that flows naturally, or could it be more like a shadow cast by our minds? The idea that time may be an illusion isn't as far-fetched as you might think. Let's break it down step by step. The question of whether time is real is as old as philosophy itself. Immanuel Kant, in his Critique of Pure Reason published in 1781, argued that time isn't something out there. It's not an objective part of the universe. Instead, it's a framework that we humans use to understand events. In Kant's view, time is more like a mental filter through which we process reality. Fast forward to the 20th century, and Einstein comes along with his theory of special relativity. Now this is where things get really interesting. Einstein showed that time isn't the constant universal thing we thought it was. In fact, time is relative. Let me hit you with this fact. If you were to travel at nearly the speed of light and return to Earth, your clock would show less time had passed for you than for the people on Earth. This isn't just theoretical. This has been demonstrated with atomic clocks aboard airplanes and satellites. They show tiny but measurable differences in time based on their speed and altitude. Mind-blowing, right? Einstein's theory also gave rise to the idea that time is intertwined with space, hence the term space-time. But here's where things get even more bizarre. In a way, time can bend. The massive gravitational pull of black holes, for example, can actually warp time itself. Near a black hole, time slows down significantly compared to areas further away. In fact, if you were to watch a clock near a black hole, it would appear to slow down, almost to a standstill. This brings us to a paradox. If time can be bent, stretched, and slowed, is it really the constant force we once believed? Some scientists now argue that time is more like a flexible, malleable dimension rather than a constant flow. But physics is only half of the story. Let's dive into the other dimension of time, the one inside your head. Did you know that your brain is constantly distorting your perception of time? Why does time seem to drag when you're bored but fly when you're having fun? It turns out, the answer lies in neuroscience. A study by David Eagleman, a neuroscientist at Stanford University, revealed that the brain is a master at manipulating time perception. In familiar situations, your brain essentially compresses time. This is why, when you're driving the same route to work every day, the trip seems to take no time at all. But when you're doing something new or exciting, your brain stretches the experience. Think back to your last vacation or an adrenaline-pumping activity like skydiving. Those moments felt like they lasted forever. According to research, novel experiences force your brain to process more information, giving you the sensation that time is moving more slowly. Here's an incredible fact. In a 2011 study from the Max Planck Institute, researchers showed that, under extreme conditions such as life-threatening situations, our brain slows down time to help us react more effectively. This time dilation can be observed in high-stress moments like car accidents or during extreme sports. The brain literally enhances our perception, giving us a sense that we have more time to respond than we actually do. It's fascinating, right? Your brain can make a second feel like an eternity, or a day feel like it slipped away in the blink of an eye. But how? Neuroscientists believe this is linked to a part of the brain called the striatum, which tracks time and adapts to our internal and external environments. Now let's get even deeper into the rabbit hole, quantum physics. In this realm, time becomes even more mysterious. Carlo Rovelli, one of the most prominent physicists working today, argues that in the quantum world, time doesn't exist in the way we experience it. In fact, at the quantum level, time might not exist at all. Quantum physics introduces the idea that time, as we experience it, could just be an emergent property, a byproduct of how our consciousness perceives the interactions between particles. According to Rovelli, quantum events don't necessarily have to follow a linear timeline. They can be timeless, existing in a state of probabilities rather than certainties. In his book, The Order of Time, Rovelli argues that past, present, and future may not even exist in a meaningful way at the quantum scale. Instead of thinking about time as flowing, imagine it like a cloud of possibilities, where different events can happen in different orders, or maybe even simultaneously. Pretty mind-blowing, isn't it? While quantum mechanics challenges the existence of time, we also have to look at how time is understood on the largest possible scale, the universe itself. This is where entropy comes in. The concept of time in the universe is closely tied to the second law of thermodynamics, which states that entropy, or disorder, in a system tends to increase over time. This is what physicist Sean Carroll calls the arrow of time, the one-way direction in which time seems to move, always increasing in entropy. Here's a fascinating point. When we say time moves forward, what we're really saying is that entropy is increasing. In other words, time is essentially a measure of how disorder accumulates. And if entropy were to decrease, hypothetically, time might flow backward, or not at all. While it's impossible to reverse entropy in our universe, this law gives us insight into why we perceive time as having a forward direction. The further we move into the future, the more entropy and chaos there is in the universe. It's the increase in disorder that gives rise to our sense of time flowing forward. So what does all this mean for us? Whether time is an illusion or not, it profoundly shapes our lives. But here's an interesting thought. What if we could manipulate our perception of time to live more fully? According to research from the University of California, people who practice mindfulness often report feeling like time slows down. When you're fully present in the moment, time feels richer and more expansive. Neuroscientists believe that mindfulness helps the brain focus on the now, reducing the sense of time flying by. In fact, a study published by the Harvard Medical School revealed that mindfulness not only reduces stress, but also enhances our perception of time. When we focus on the present, our internal clock seems to slow, allowing us to savor each moment. So, could understanding time as an illusion help us live better? Philosophers from Buddhist traditions suggest that letting go of the idea of time as linear could lead to more peaceful, present-centered lives. After all, if time is just a construct, why not focus on the now, where life is truly happening? We've explored the physics, neuroscience, and philosophy of time, but the big question remains, is time an illusion? One thing is clear. Our perception of time is deeply influenced by our environment, our brains, and the universe itself. Like the video if you agree. Remember, whether time is an illusion or not, it shapes our reality in profound ways. By understanding time as something flexible, we might just learn to live with greater awareness and intention. So what do you think? Is time real, or is it just a mental construct? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If this video made you question everything, hit that like button and subscribe for more mind-bending explorations of the universe. Subscribe to our channel, Universal Insights, for more life secrets. We may not respond, but we read every comment. Remember, every second is unique, and by subscribing, you won't miss a moment.